everyone. So welcome to the next panel, the real needs of retail messaging nowadays. I'm Fabrizio and your host of this panel. And I have here fantastic experts from the industry here to talk about this topic. Maybe you give a short introduction, each one of you, and in a sentence, what you do. So Othman, maybe you start.
Yeah, sure. I'm Othman. I founded Atlas Communications in 2018. We started as an MVNO, light MVNO, so that means we got mobile numbers. And we moved slightly to the CPaaS model, just to be honest, increase the margins, so through APIs. So we kind of hybrid between MVNO and CPaaS.
Thank you. Andreas?
Hi. I'm Andreas Felke. I'm the founder and CEO of Interactive Digital Media, which is a messaging A2P wholesale provider. We're having licensed MVNO as well and doing A2P messaging in a wholesale basis mainly.
How many decades in the business?
About 2 by now. So
we are so
a little
old.
more than 20 years. Yeah.
We are so old, for God's sake.
You gotta have the gray hair from somewhere.
Yeah, from somewhere you have it, you know, for sure not from, yeah. So, and behind the Maginot line, we have Scott.
Yeah, my name's Scott Warner. I'm the Director of Emerging Services at S and BTS. We're a joint venture between SoftBank, the Japanese mobile operator, and BTS, let's call it a voice wholesale business, but also with a large messaging department. My role covers everything related to our messaging product, so that includes SMS, RCS, WhatsApp, and all the various omni-channel services that we provide.
Thank you so much, Scott. And last but not least, Bertrand.
So Bertrand Charvos, yeah, I'm Director of Global Connectivity at League Mobility. So mainly in charge of like the relationship with the operator, the aggregator, and some of our big clients for different offering, like the different channel to the different clients. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So as we see, a lot of experts in this panel. Let's start with a provocation, guys. And be honest. CPaaS. Is it meanwhile not a little bit outdated, this buzzword? What is your opinion? Who wants to give an answer on that?
I mean, it's in my job title, so probably I should give the answer on this one.
What is your job title?
Director of Emerging Services, and then in brackets, CPaaS, because I thought it sounded cool.
It sounds cool, so is it outdated?
No, I hope not. No, look, I mean, the reality is, are communications platforms outdated? No. Is there some way to go in order to ensure that us, let's call it kind of telco businesses, move and progress into becoming really accessible products? Yeah, I think so. And that's where kind of CPaaS sits. So what I think of when there's 100 different definitions of CPaaS. What I think of is this is bridging the gap between the telco business and the connectivity business and what enterprises actually need. And that's, for the topic of today's discussion when we look at what retail messaging, so what businesses actually require. And what we see day to day is the main challenge that businesses have is in this omni-channel ecosystem of messaging where, when we think 10 years ago even, messaging meant SMS. Today, messaging means all of the hundreds of different channels. And by the way, it didn't quite move how we expected because we thought we were going to go into this WhatsApp age, but instead it got even more fragmented. So now we're looking at how can we provide platforms for our enterprise customers where they can really access those channels effectively and provide software on top of that to enable them to use our kind of connectivity piece. So I think, CPaaS, and whether it's CPaaS or something else, right, but communications platforms is absolutely the focus of the industry right now, which is how can we help enterprises use these channels more effectively?
Thank you. Andreas, CPaaS, buzzword or the real stuff like Scott is just saying, claiming?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's outdated or the buzzword anymore. I still agree that if you look at the definition, it'll be CPaaS as a cloud platform as a service or communication platform as a service. And that maybe is somehow outdated. If you look at the market today, I still think in line with what Scott was saying, that the challenge that we all have is to provide platforms that can connect all these different channels, not only SMS, not only voice, whether it's Meta, Facebook, RCS, WhatsApp, Viber, anything in a platform where the enterprises actually can utilize that. And our challenge is to kind of connect those. And is there a market for that? In my view, definitely yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here and being on this show. Because
you're so long here, 2 decades. Maybe you're just having fun.
And maybe I'm just getting old or forgetting everything.
You're doing this for living. So.
Okay. Yeah, so I agree with what he's saying, that there is a market for it, and our challenge is to build a platform that's usable for the enterprises. So, no, not outdated.
Thank you, Andreas. So when I talk with people, let's say about AI, 100 people, 100 answers. The same a little bit I feel with, I talk with 100 people about CPaaS, and I get more or less 100 answers. Bertrand, how you define CPaaS? What means CPaaS for you? Because obviously it looks like it's not a standard definition, but it means just something. So how you would describe CPaaS?
Yeah, I'd say that it's allowing the brand to go a step further, because they've been used to using SMS for years, which has been one of the only way to communicate with their customer. And now we're giving them a full new amount of channel and opportunities. So it will be our job to make sure that we're bridging this gap that they have in a way they communicate with the customer, whether it's for simple customer care or whatever, or that could be as well to help them decrease their cost for some contact center or something like that. I mean, we just need to use this channel efficiently to provide the brand with some added value, I'd say, yeah? So we're entering a totally new era since the pandemic, and just let's use all those channels that we have at our disposal to finally bring new value to the enterprise customer, because that's what they're looking for at the end of the day, yeah?
So let me challenge all of you a little bit, because you said to offer the enterprises and so on, CPaaS, whatever channel. But what exactly you offer? What is it? Okay, it's a message, but at the end, what is the enterprise buying under the umbrella of CPaaS? What are you selling at the end?
I mean, the thing as well, and to complete what you guys are saying, is that the customer needs evolve a lot. That means that, again, that the CPaaS model needs to evolve. And what we see on our end as an MVNO, that people and customers and marketers from those companies come to us lately for conversational SMS. And in the past, that was only one way, marketing, then OTP, when the OTTs started to get subscribers and authentify them. And now, if the CPaaS model doesn't evolve with the needs, then it's our end. So our ambition, our challenge, all of us, is to check at the use cases and see how we can provide, depending on the channel, depending on the countries as well, because in each country, the needs are not the same. Brazil, no SMS or very little compared to WhatsApp. The penetration rate is way higher. So CPaaS has first an entry with the use case, then the country and the regulation. That's why it's evolving all the time, I would say.
But again, what are you guys selling to the enterprise? What is it? So you go and say, we do CPaaS. So now what? What is the next? What is needed to use your services? What do you offer?
I think this is the key point, because we almost all of us in this industry come from, let's put it this way, a wholesale telco background. And so what we talk about is volume, and we talk about channels, and we talk about mobile networks. We talk about, okay, how many messages to T-Mobile in Germany, for example. And the reality is the enterprise customer doesn't talk in that language. And we all try to sell to the enterprise using that language. And we talk about per message cost, and we talk about all of this stuff. And as we see kind of the SMS cost in the market increase exponentially over the last 5 years, we've become really bad at selling it, because we're, in my opinion, in the market, often a little bit lazy in our sales approach. What we need to really be looking at is what's the real value to an enterprise of that channel. And it could be, I love conversational commerce as a use case. I think this is a brilliant use case, because finally messaging has a value associated to it. So and a value that you can measure. And when you look at the rich channels, and I don't mean just RCS, I mean the rich channels that are involved in omni-channel messaging all over the world, there's some amazing use case where you can take it from a marketing message to a payment all within the messaging client. And that is so much more powerful than what kind of we all talked about 10 years ago in the SMS market. And I think what we're really selling is the value of that transaction and helping a business to seamlessly sell something to their customers. And for me, it's not just a question of channels. And I think we need to somehow, and I do this all the time, and I start talking about channels, and customers, they have no idea what I'm talking about because I'm talking like a wholesaler. And I think it's reframing it. And yeah, I think we're on the way.
Yes, I see you don't want to give an answer to my question. What are you selling, right? You're just not coming to the point. So I was asking CPaaS, what is it? At the end, you sell an API, right? So they connect, enterprises connect via an API, and then you offer all this magic, what you just said, Scott. Now, what I'm challenging you is this developer-driven acquisition model, like what is CPaaS? Is it not saturated already? Because at the end, if the bakery next door, you offer them, hey, that's our CPaaS proposition, buy it. They said, what is it? Jason? What is this? API? No idea. What is it? What do you sell them? So did we reach the limit of this, all these developers worldwide that they can find new use cases? Or you think, no, it's just the beginning? What do you think? Maybe, Andreas.
Well, I wouldn't say that it's the end. I think it's rather where you're heading, the beginning. So if you look at the bakery next door, they may not be having developers, and they aren't able to integrate any kind of APIs, but they would be able to utilize a web-based CRM, a web app that has these channels in the back. So their challenge is how do I get customers in my funnel? How can I bridge the guy that stands on my door on the desk and wants to buy the bread, that I can somehow talk to them? And there you can use QR codes or whatever, as long as you bring them in. And then you have the larger enterprises. They have developers. They have specific ideas on their use cases. They may know their specific channels. Well, I personally still think it's a different way around. The customer should pick the channel, not the enterprise. But that's a different story. And they will then integrate these solutions. And our challenge is to provide a platform that enables the developers then to seamlessly integrate in all these channels, because and I think you guys seen the same thing on building their platforms, getting WhatsApp in, getting RCS in, getting whatever Signal or Viber or anything, they all have proprietary APIs. And the art or the challenge is to provide an API that is so harmonized for an enterprise that they can integrate it in a blink of an eye.
So I'm the bakery next door. I'm very impressed about all the work, but I don't care, right? What do I buy from you? Is this the CPaaS buzzword? Because, our industry, we are very strong in any kind of buzzwords, right? So I just would like to clean up a little bit, which segments we are. So CPaaS is over API, right? Where you need all this work. And now what do you sell then to the bakery next door, to the retailer? What is he buying? Is this under the buzzword CPaaS, or is it named differently? Bertrand, what do you think?
I think he needs to buy a solution, yeah? So whatever problem he may have, because there's a new bakery that just opened next door, and it's stealing all his clients or something. So you need to come up with just like an alternative solution that's going to help him to gain back his customer, retain his customers.
But what tool he's using?
Yeah.
What machine?
You could potentially. What we do, we have like pre-made like kind of file where they can just like integrate their customer base, numbers, or email, if it's via email, with the content and the name of the person, and whatever they would need to communicate with them, we would like offer them a solution and tell them, okay, so we wouldn't charge you potentially on a message basis, but we would charge you on like how many of those customers would come back to your shop via like whatever promotion we would have passed via this channel where we have communicated. Yeah.
What do you think is bigger? Which market is bigger? So what you are addressing, if you have a user interface, that's the other buzzword, UCaaS, right? So Unified Communication as a Service, and CPaaS, let's say the API driven. In the outlook, let's say of the next 3 to 5 years, what do you think? Which market is bigger? The CPaaS, because Andreas was claiming that's the beginning, right? Or is it more the UCaaS, where you don't need any developer in the background, which is using APIs? Yeah, just come in here. We are here. Yeah, the show is here. Hey, hi. Oh. Okay, the beer is all on him because he's late. So what do you think? Which market will evolve bigger?
In terms of volumes or?
In terms of everything, revenue, income,
I mean, quickly, CPaaS, if we consider all the API-driven market, is the sexiest one because we talk about API integrations, etc. But in terms of volumes, that maybe considers just a few companies, because the baker or the doctor cannot integrate an API, but there are so many. So volume-wise, they are not under the API radar, but they are huge. And it's just back to the days where we were allowing them to upload a database, the phone numbers, send the messages, and check if the SMS reach or not, and then compare to their own ROI. I think it's a huge market, but just with the
which one? The CPaaS or the UCaaS?
Or
both.
Not the very first one. All the individuals or small businesses not able to integrate APIs. It's not the CCaaS, it's not the CPaaS. It's just all these guys. It's huge in terms of volumes, and we need to find new ways to make it sexier, because just a platform is not easy. So it's more software-based where a solution can come from, offering them a kind of a mobile application where they can send but have more features, considering the fact they cannot integrate APIs. So I would imagine like offering them a mobile application where they have a number, they can reach their contacts, receive the answers, book appointments. It could be a doctor, it could be any type of individual having his own business, a barber, for example. So a barber has loads of different daily interactions based on a phone number. He doesn't have any API knowledge. He doesn't have any CCaaS need, actually, but he still needs to have connectivity, and they need a mobile application. If you see what I mean.
I see what you mean. So let me challenge that. What is easier to sell then? To sell an API or to sell a solution? Because the barbershop, I think it's a solution, right? Or what do you think is more difficult? Where is the sales cycle shorter?
One is B2B and the other is B2C. And even usually we say that B2B is pretty straightforward and B2C is a struggle because it's a lot of marketing, but you have different sales cycle. Like B2B could be very long or very short, depending on the deal size, while B2C could be very short if there is a clear need at a certain period of time. So I would say there are two different ways to address the buyer, two different ways to promote as well. But I think we cannot really compare. It's about knowing your audience and the persona. And for me, from a B2B perspective, because we only sell to B2Bs, I think it's a new challenge for us to start selling to B2B doing B2C. And the time to close a deal is way shorter. That's what I see.
Scott, you have the microphone all like that, like a rapper.
No, I
want to say something.
No, I love that like B2B, B2C comparison, because it's always interesting that as a market our DNA is on that kind of API piece, and that I've mentioned this already in this session, which is our DNA is in connectivity and selling connectivity and letting our customer decide what they want to do with it. Right? It's sort of like our customer in an API business decides what they do with that API, and we just facilitate that. I think for the first time in many years, we spent many years, most of the companies at these events, just making good money out of OTP as a use case. When we talk about international messaging, I'm kind of being specific about international messaging. And before that, it was marketing, right? So if you go back sort of 12 years, there was, even before the big OTP volume started, it was kind of a marketing and notification channel. Now the dynamics of the market have changed completely, and this omni-channel piece has meant that there's so many more use cases when you look at like the rich messaging and the new features, and there's an RCS panel coming up that will, I'm sure, go into all of that stuff. But all of these new features means that suddenly we've got really valuable use cases that we can actually sell. And I think we as a market need to make that easier. So we have a fragmented messaging ecosystem. It's very complicated, and it's more complicated than it ever has been, I would suggest, which is a good thing for us, right? Because that's kind of where we add value. And I think it's interesting to see what businesses are doing when they move away from that API connectivity piece and move up the value chain and try and get closer to that end customer. It's not an easy process, because actually it's kind of shifting the entire business model, where we become software businesses, not telco businesses. And I think when I look at those businesses today that I think are going to be successful in the future, they're focusing on the software piece. They're not really focusing on the connectivity piece. Just my observation, right? And that's where we are. We're looking at, the connectivity is there, that's built. We've done that for 30 years. Now we're looking at how can we get closer to the customer? How can we provide more exciting services? And that's, by the way, for us as an industry, incremental business. That's new business.
Thank you, Scott. You have Italian roots? You talk as much like we Italians.
I don't.
I'm just joking. No, all good, all good. Omnichannel. You mentioned that buzzword. Just to make very sure that we all understand the same, because there is multi-channel, omnichannel. Bertrand, how you would define omnichannel in a sentence? Or two.
Two. Yeah, two is better. Yeah.
You have Italian roots.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd say that it's a way for us to unify communication, solving different problems using different channels. Yeah. So it's all about problem solving. So at the end, you can just approach like an enterprise, offering him a service for delivering a message, which is one type of use case. And then you could just offer another type of solution via another channel where you would help them save costs, because they have high costs for contact centers, for example. So we're having like a large logistic company where we've implemented WhatsApp with them, and so we help them solve the problem of the contact center, because we know that everybody calling a contact centers, 80% of the requests when people are calling contact centers can be handled by a bot, for example. So it's a lot of cost that you're helping the company to save. So when you pitch that, you don't pitch, I'm going to sell you WhatsApp. It's like, I'm going to sell you something that's going to make you save money, because you're spending a lot of money on contact center. And with my solution, out of 100 requests you're going to get, only 20 will lead to a call, which is going to make you save 80% of your current budget on your contact center. Yeah. So it's all about like how you pitch it and what you're able to bring to the brand at the end of the day. Yeah. So you can use all the channel. You can make sure to get the best out of all the different channels, but you at the end need to make sure that whatever channel you're selling to the company, it brings value to the company. So you need to analyze your client, discuss with him, understand his needs, more than just trying to sell him, like Scott was saying, just the API. I mean, you don't bring value selling the API. You need to sell a solution, not the API. Yeah.
So retailers need omnichannel then. Let's say in a nutshell. They need it. Huh? So Andreas, maybe other reasons to share with the audience why the retailers need omnichannel, and do they need it?
Yeah, I would say they definitely need it, because it's like Bertrand said as well. It's where's the value coming from? And I think we're shifting from like a transaction-based business where you get the message in and out to a solution-based business where you actually have to either convince the customer that you have a solution that saves him money and you have the value in it, or you have a packaged solution that's ready, and you have to take away the pain that the customer may have by integrating any of these different channels, because that is what takes and I think hinders them adopting that technology. Yeah? If we look at how much efforts we had to all go through to implement all these different channels with the different APIs, then you have to look at, well, if it's WhatsApp, for example, yes, you can integrate a bot. You need to have a template. If you have RCS, you need to have a look at that. You need to first get the RCS bot approved. These are all challenges the actual retailers, they don't care about. They want to have somebody that comes in and helps them solve that problem. So take away that pain, and you'll have something, if you prove to them that they can save money with that, that is a solution they'll definitely buy.
So now more and more OTTs coming into the game, right? So the godfather of everything of messaging was SMS, and now we have new channels, as you mentioned before, WhatsApp, RCS, and you name it, whatever is coming. Where you guys see, what do you think it's the biggest opportunity for us? Is there a biggest one, or is it, let's say, a combination of it? So what is your gut feeling? You know, in which direction it goes, where it brings the most advantages for our industry and for the enterprises, of course, where you see opportunities for our industry and which would help the enterprises. Who wants to get this one? Scott, one sentence. No, just go ahead.
Look, the way I see it and the way we see it as a business is that it's not about the channel, it's about who can really provide valuable services to enterprises and to businesses. So who can really like crack that nut? Because that's still, no one is doing that perfectly. And I think there's platforms on the market that are getting closer and closer, and there's kind of a race to really solve that problem. So, you know, I think about the end customer. If you imagine an e-commerce business that might want to sell over RCS, let's use that as an example, and they want to introduce a carousel, and then you can make your choice, and you can do this real conversational commerce piece, which, by the way, that's still very much, I think, a pilot thing right now. But if someone can do that really effectively, that could be like a game changer for the way people buy stuff. And that's pretty exciting. If you can imagine that you can do everything through your messaging client, whoever can do that really well, and that's what we at SNBTS and as part of the BTS group, what we're trying to do is solve that problem. And if you can do that really effectively, I mean, the market is, it's pretty much everything. You know, every euro that's spent could be spent through a messaging app. And that would change the whole way everyone uses their smartphone. So, you know, I see it less as about channels, it's about who can really solve that problem.
We need then to make a mind shift, you know, in our industry from being a telecom more to a solution seller. Bertrand?
Yeah, I mean, we just need to switch the mindset, kind of, because at the moment, I mean, we've all been selling mainly SMS here for years, let's be honest, So at the moment, with the price increasing, we've seen the amount of SMS shrinking. I mean, it's a fact, because the brands, they are not willing to pay that price anymore for that service, Because, I mean, at the moment, they are using alternative channel to deliver those authentication messages, but it's not because the channel is better, it's because the channel is cheaper, But if the channel reach that price, then SMS is still the best way to communicate, to share that type of information. So there just need to be a reevaluation of like what an SMS is worth and what it's bringing to the brand. But alternative like channels, when you say like we need to move to more software kind of company, that's where the key is, because with all those new channels, you're going to be able to define where the market needs to be, what the problem you need to solve. So everybody and every company, they have different type of clients. Some are reaching out like big companies, big organizations, some small like medium-sized company, and depending of your customer base, you're going to be able to offer them like different types of solution. So it's your job to just adapt your product based on the target, like the audience that you want to reach,
So under all those new channels and new opportunities and challenges, just a short answer, is then SMS still sexy as a channel?
I think it really depends on the use case and the price. It's a combination between both and the market, the country. Because as an example, again, Brazil, SMS is not really relevant, while in other countries like Europe or France, UK, it's still very valid. And SMS, like, I love WhatsApp, but it depends on the use case again. Like if you just need a simple interaction in and out between a brand or an agent and the end customer, better to go on SMS. While if you need to enrich it, definitely WhatsApp could be better, or RCS. And then again, SMS can be very well combined with voice capabilities. And we can see it as with some customers, they come to us, they start with SMS. Only one way, like they send reminders. Okay, great. And then they notice that they can do it again on WhatsApp, but could be more expensive depending on the country. So they say, can we receive the confirmations? And here again, it's about marketing. We don't sell them the capacity to receive the messages. We sell them more engagement with the end customer. We tell them, look, if you send the same content saying, okay, hey, your appointment with Dr. Marsh is tomorrow 8 a.m., please confirm, okay. With the answer, you can decrease no-shows. So we're not selling any more SMS or the capabilities to receive incoming or outgoing SMS. We sell now, even through SMS, engagement. So to answer, yes, SMS is valid, depending on how you package it, if you can make it sexier, and again, add more layers on top of it, such as the voice. We can...
Andrea, since 20 years, SMS is your companion, and you got a lot of gray hair because of SMS, because of it. So you think it's still sexy? Or is it now it's time, to send it to pension and let the field to other channels? So what is your
Well, the question is, if it's sexy, yes or no. I think it's a still very valid channel, because it's ultimately, for me, it depends on the use case. Like you said it, when it's just a simple notification, take an SMS. If you want to have an enterprise, like Scott said it, and they want to do retail, they want to do customer acquisition, they want to tie that customer to that brand. RCS is a great channel, you can integrate it. For me, it's ultimately the mix of everything that's going to be there. And well, that same saying, for 10 years, people are running around in their business saying SMS is dead. There's the next big thing coming, it's WhatsApp. There's the challenge on WhatsApp on that end. There's the next big thing coming with RCS. There's that challenge. There's Viber. We're all still here after 20 years, and I'd agree that the volumes have changed, the transactions or notifications in it have changed. But it is definitely a piece that's going to stay there, because there's always going to be a use case where that simple notification where you don't want to have a bot registered on RCS, or you don't want to get a template approved or something like that.
Yeah, because technology can change fast, but not the human people, right? So it takes time until technology will be adapted.
Adoption is from the customers takes ages. Yeah.
I saw very often when they talk about RCS, that RCS is SMS 2.0. Bertrand, your opinion about that. Is RCS SMS 2.0, or is it just a complete other channel?
Yeah, I mean, it can be considered SMS 2.0 because it's the telco product. That's the only enriched product that's competing with the other OTT channels, for example. But I mean, the thing is, when we take it on a customer discussion standpoint, when you try to sell RCS, and you go to your customer and you say, okay, so yeah, I'm selling you a solution that's gonna verify your sender, so it's trustworthy for your client and everything. That's true. It's bringing those kind of value. But then you're gonna tell him, but yeah, only 50% of your customer will be able to use this channel. Yeah, so it's very difficult for us to sell such a channel. Yeah, so it can be the SMS 2.0, but I don't think it's anywhere near there, because even though it can bring value, because it's an enriched channel, it's a trustworthy channel, there's a verified sender and everything, and I mean, customer can trust the channel because it won't be a scam anymore, yeah. Even though I guess it's a mile away of becoming the SMS 2.0 in that sense, yeah, because the coverage is not good enough for now for selling it to an enterprise and trying to solve any kind of solution, because you're just reaching on your portion of the market, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much about your opinion. So if we talk about the retail needs, and if we compare all these different channels which exists, we have, as I always say, we have a democratic channels, like let's say SMS, where you can do more or less whatever the law allows. And then you have dictatorial channels, let's say like WhatsApp, where Mr. Zuckerberg will tell you what you are allowed to do, what not, and tell the marketing manager of Coca-Cola how to talk with his audience. So is this really a need what the enterprises have, that somebody, a gatekeeper, like in RCS, Google, and or WhatsApp, Meta at WhatsApp, so that tells to the enterprises what they're allowed to do and what not? And is it then still a killer product, or it will kill the product because of all this overregulation? What is your opinion on it?
Well, I'd say it could be a killer product if the restrictions that you just mentioned weren't there. Because as Bertrand said, part one, the enterprise wants to communicate with the customer base. They, at least in my personal conviction and the experience that we've had when talking to customers, they don't really care whether it's WhatsApp or RCS or whatever it may be. They want to get a message out there, and they don't want to have any complaints about it.
They understand if the message what they composed will be rejected by WhatsApp?
That is one of the...
That, or they,
No, they hate
they
it.
will cheer for you?
But that's exactly the challenge that we've seen. So we have a very long-term enterprise client, and they do voice and messaging notifications. And we've tried to talk to them numerous times for look at WhatsApp. And when it first came up, WhatsApp Business API, like whatever, 9 years ago, whatever, the guy came in and said, oh, we need that. And then we said, okay, so are you aware of X, Y, Z as a restriction? And they said, oh, yeah. And then there was still the point with the US and wasn't fully encrypted. They had data concerns and everything. Our job is to take all this pain away from an enterprise client. And if we manage that, and that's what I'm saying, it's a real big challenge. Because
how you can do that if just your customer wants to send a certain line of a certain message, but the channel is just saying no, you can't. How you manage this?
As long as it's a mobile number, basically the platform could identify that on our end and basically ignore or skip that channel because it's not an approved template. It would go out as a text. We have that just for a customer. They do marketing and acquisition, and they do it normally by WhatsApp.
To the good old democratic channel called SMS. Then, when
if you want to call it that way,
block it. Oh,
yes.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Because that's the way how you. Yeah. There's no other way how you can do it today, and that's again why is it that? No, because that's still the only ultimate secure channel where you know it can get delivered. Secure is a different question, but it's any device can receive the text. Can any device do RCS? No. Can any device do WhatsApp with any kind of message? No. So unless you solve that, there's always going to be this challenge. And I still think that is, as Scott put it as well, that's one of the biggest challenges. If you provide a platform that can do all that and take all that pain away, then you have something that will sell.
Scott, how you face that? Because
I think if you ask any routing manager who's at this event today, I'm not sure if they'd say SMS is democratized. Considering when you look at the amount of sender ID registration, content restriction, and so I'm not sure how. I don't know if we can describe SMS as a channel that you can just send anything down.
By law, what is allowed by law?
And let's say easier,
again,
maybe. Maybe easier.
Another thing when you speak to the regulator, right?
So this means that you see the tendency, that even there they start with this mess. Is it an enabler or a blocker for the growth of SMS? If you start to overrule, let's say, in the beginning it was a very democratic platform, and now more and more rules are coming. Is it really helping, or is it more blocking?
Look, I think to some extent it's natural that from certain behaviors as kind of the industry grew, in certain markets the regulators had to step in and put things in place. Obviously, the problem is that the regulator has no experience of how the industry actually works.
So it did really help?
So, I guess sometimes it just kills the business. So, 190 regulators. And I guess in my mind, I sometimes think of WhatsApp as the biggest mobile operator in the world that holds this channel and is the single. At least there's only one regulator for the WhatsApp channel. For the SMS channel, there's how many, Ira? 190? So yeah, I mean, I think that's a complicated web. But, going back to the SMS point, there's absolutely still such a big market for SMS as a channel. I think it's such a powerful tool. And I think it will become more powerful. Because I think, as much as we've seen the cost of SMS increase, I mean, by the way, that increases everyone's revenues as well, even if volumes go down. We see that the SMS channel becomes more, I think, will become more and more special. So, that becomes really about critical communication. And, as we move into this kind of more usage of messaging channels as a whole, then SMS makes even more sense if you have something really critical that you need to communicate.
Okay, thank you so much. Another buzzword which is floating and roaming around nowadays is AI. So AI and retail messaging. Is this an enabler? Is it a blocker? Is it just pure fantasy? Or you really see there is an opportunity? And if you see an opportunity or a blocker, would be nice, to see and to share with the audience what is your opinion about it. So, Jotman.
Yeah, well, for me, telco is just the layer. You have a content, then you can communicate it by SMS or voice, whatever. And I see here a great opportunity between generative AI specifically. So instead of a customer creating the content, it's just the AI doing it. And instead of pushing the content by chatbot or WhatsApp or whatever, because we saw all those software companies offering the AI possibility to generate the content, it just goes through SMS or voice. So we used, for example, to sell minutes to call centers for the last 10 years, and my company for the last 7 years. And now they're asking us, hey guys, is it legally compliant that it's not a human but an agent powered by AI to talk on the phone, on your phone numbers? So there is no clear framework for each of the 190 regulators. So it's we are in the process to creating, they are, not me, in the process to create the whole legal framework. But for me, it's a big opportunity. And the winners are the software guys again. So either new ones, so fully newly powered by AI, or the CCaaS contact centers, call centers using AI to boost their or to create new revenue streams and just to be more fashion. And telco is one of the ways to boost AI for me.
Andreas, 20 years in this business, you saw a lot of things coming and going. AI, come to stay?
I definitely think it's come to stay for
in our business, of course.
Yeah, sure. The same thing that as Ortman just mentioned it is in the moment when there's any kind of customer dialogue, or whether it was like Bertrand said it with the logistics company that he had, where you get a WhatsApp bot, that is rather a BI predefined answers or whatever. So the part one question is it AI or is it BI? But even simple processes that people would call BI that are actually, AI would be covered through business intelligence processes, questions and answers, could come in interactive dialogues. And whether you put that, again, on which channel, if it's SMS or whatever, it's easy because then you don't have these restrictions. If you have a generative AI putting a message out on WhatsApp, I'd be curious to see how many actually reach the destination, given the fact that there's no approved template. But in the moment you have an inbound customer communication coming in, you could utilize that for any kind of customer service with AI based on knowledge databases or whatever to answer these requests directly. So I think there's definitely it's a big opportunity, I would say.
Let's talk about money of this opportunity. Bertrand, how to monetize it? So can you give to the audience some hints how to make money out of this big opportunity, or at least some ideas, how to monetize it?
I mean, monetizing AI as itself, I mean, it's not, that's not the way it's going to work, yeah? I mean, we just need to use AI because, I mean, at the moment, data is key, right? I mean, everybody owning like data is owning some key power into any market, yeah? So let's think about something like you can automatize using data, yeah? So via bot or via any other type of service. So automation will mean like for brands saving costs. So then again, you'll bring value to the brand using AI because data, you will have gathered data and different information through experience via different customer that you will make other customer benefit from it, yeah? So that's the third thing. And then the second thing that would be like personalization. Let's think about someone like you, Fabrizio. I don't know if, you buy you buy a TV and I mean, you have last TV you bought with whatever brand it is, you had issues. And I mean, you like that someone, when you receive your TV, you like that there's a nice lady calling you, explaining you how it works, or via like whatever channel, you're going to receive a video with the instruction how to install this TV or something. and that will go to the next step, like into personalization. And personalization, it will mean like better ROI and better customer retention. So again,
But why you need AI? I mean, personalization is as old as my age is. So
how can you know what your customer really want at the instant for this kind of product if you're not using data? Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not like rocket science. It's not like you cannot just consider that every customer buying the same product react differently. Yeah, I mean, some customer you will not be able to retain them like in any brand, because if you buy a TV from like a specific brand, maybe you're the kind of guy that after you're going to buy the TV from another brand, but that's every customer is working differently. So if you don't have all kind of data, how can you personalize the communication with every customer and make sure that you first increase the ROI and retain the customer if it's already an existing customer? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So maybe I will rephrase my question in a very clear way. If AI is an opportunity, I think, Scott, it is, yes or no for you? It is? Yeah. What you will invoice to your customers, how you make money, what will be written on the invoice for what you charge in together with AI? Of course, I mean, we are talking about this topic.
Well, I like it. There's another slant on the AI bit, which is how does that help us make money out of the product as well? And when you look at things like, we'll go back to our routing managers and the challenge that we have is often that with channels where there's things like fraud, and how can AI support us in identifying that? There's a big cost saving potential in there for us and potentially for our customers. Then there's things like routing efficiency. Can we use AI to identify when a number is available? This is getting away from the retail messaging bit and a bit into the nerdy stuff. But like, on the routing side, I think there's like a huge amount of potential cost effectiveness that can be saved using AI.
Okay, but that's not for the retailer, right? So.
Yeah, but
it's
still
it's still.
I mean, it could
cost
be.
saving,
It
so
could be.
it's profitability.
I mean,
why
why
I'm
not,
challenging
yeah?
you guys is because it's not so easy to give an answer. Even if it's a buzzword, everybody's talking about AI, but nobody has a clue how to make money. So what is written on the invoice? Of course, maybe you have more messages and so on, but is it expertise? Is it ideas? Is it consultancy? Is it software? Where are the money where we can do? So that's. Maybe everybody will think about by themselves. We are coming slowly. You want to say something?
Yeah,
on this topic?
just to answer that, and I think you're referring to that as well, is like, so you have numerous parts. The part one is the ramp up and the setup and the configuration of the platform. But once you've done that and the system is up and running, I think the charging model is basically based on transaction like you have it with messages. So you would charge for AI conversations by piece, either by time, and hate it, but it's the WhatsApp thingy. So you have this 24-hour window. Either it's that or you have per transaction back and forth that is AI powered, you would charge a fee. That's what I think and the way we would do it.
Thank you.
But the thing is, where is the AI? Is it in the software or within the CPaaS guys? Because if the AI is within the software product, then who's making the money? The software product. And I saw it, like we were selling minutes and SMS to CCaaS. Then they have implemented AI within their product. But they kept paying for the same amount of money for minutes and SMS. So the opportunity is for them. But there is another opportunity first, except if there is AI within our switch and platforms, but I'm not talking about it. The opportunity I see is about compliance. Because now we see the emergence of the use cases. Different use cases, chatbots, contact centers, customer support in general for conversational communications. But then we will see a lot of issues, and that's where the regulation will start. Then you need to be compliant as an operator or carrier, whatever. And we won't be too many to be compliant. And that's where you have the added value when your customer is powering AI and you're supplying the layer, the telecom layer within their product, and you can increase the rates and make some money out of it.
Okay, thank you, Otman. So we are coming slowly but surely to the end. The godfather of retail messaging is SMS. You said 10 years ago, they said, it's damned to be death, right? It's the end is coming, So your gut feeling, your personal view, I don't say too long forward, but let's say the outlook of the next 3 years. SMS in retail messaging, it will grow, it will decline, and maybe just a sentence or two behind your thoughts. Maybe Bertrand, if you can start.
Yeah, so I'd say that depend the market, yeah. So if we take like European market that are pretty mature and pretty regulated and stuff, I mean, we see a constant increase of the SMS genuine traffic, yeah. Because I mean, they are paying the right price for the right product, yeah. So that's all the key. The thing is, when you take like the big OTP client. Where they are shrinking their messages, it's in country where they start paying like 20 or 25 cents. So we need to put everything back into context. And the thing is like at some point, even like there will be a collateral damages from those countries because it's going to lead to less messages in countries which are regulated. But the local markets, like marketing or transactional local market, if the price is right, like most of the European country, volumes are here to stay because it's a wonderful channel at the end of the day, and I didn't see any new channel that can beat it for the use that SMS has at the moment.
So it's interesting because maybe there are some voice guys which want to enter, and I hear very often, "Oh, is it not too late?" So from your point of view, it's not. Scott, what you say?
I agree with Bertrand. I think there's going to be continued growth in the SMS market. We're going to see. My view is that over the next 3 years, we're going to see messaging as a channel in general, and we're talking about like all of the various different channels, that will grow exponentially with all of the new use cases. And SMS will go up with that as well. There'll be alternative use cases, and SMS will still be that like ubiquitous channel that is really still going to be the fundamental key channel. So, you know, I think we're going to see continued growth over the next 3 years.
Okay, thank you so much. Otman, what is your take on that?
I think it's going to decrease where rich communication needs to provide more added value to the customer. So we're going through a very specialization of SMS and other channels. SMS will still be relevant and very useful for certain use cases, while other channels will be more convenient. So it's going to decrease in some aspects and increase in others. So probably at minimum stable.
Okay, thank you, Otman. And Andreas, 20 years, what do you think?
Well, looking back is wrong. If we look in the future, I'd see it's a market regional aspect where I completely agree where you have it. The other part is if we look in Europe and the price is right, I think the market's there to stay. I agree with him a little bit that the trend may be a bit downward, but for me it's rather the part where then Scott's piece comes in. If the conversational commerce piece comes up with rich communication channels, a piece of that communication, if you do a conversational commerce and you have a product and that is sold, there will be at some point in time a specific message coming in that will be an SMS. So a part of this whole conversational commerce piece is going to be messaging. And as I see that as well ridiculously growing, and whether that's on the wholesale end of us or platform providers, I don't care, with respect to the question, as that part is constantly increasing as well, I would say there's still a rise coming in the messaging volume because it's a piece of the conversational commerce where messages are going to come out.
So very good news, right? Dear audience, you have any questions what you would like to ask to the panelists?
You want us to answer your questions, or we go into
Whatever you want to share, you know, and just...
Well, I mean, on your question on AI, on your question of AI, I mean, I think the process is going to be faster, quality is going to be greater, possibly you can charge more, so there's some money to be made somewhere along that line, you know. Going to your questions about CPaaS, I mean, actually, at the end of the day, it's it's an access, you know, it's being able to access your bakery example. Well, you may not have Apple Donuts, but you may be able to find somehow that you have a partner down the street who does sell partner donuts or Apple Donuts or whatever the donuts is. So, yeah. So, I mean, collaboration from that perspective, you may find a CPaaS opportunity from that area.
So thank you, yeah, for your...
I'm going to challenge your question and the answers because if I just knocked down someone's phone. If AI is a tool, it's part of the software stack that we're using in our product. So do we charge for every little new piece of software that they develop for our product? If AI, though, enhances the user experience of our customers and it makes their experience on our platform using our product better, then why should we charge them for making their customer experience better within our product? So I challenge the idea even that we would charge them for using AI within our platform. We have an AI assistant. So if our customer is creating an SMS message on the platform and they want to make sure it's good English or they want to try a different example, they can use that, but that's part of the product we're giving them in order to get a better result from our product rather than just sending the message. We have a text optimization feature, which we don't charge extra for. We want our customers to succeed when they send messages to get the best result from their campaign. So using AI to optimize the text that they're sending gives them a better customer experience. I wouldn't even consider charging them money for the fact that we're using AI as part of the solution that we created for them. So I challenge you guys who said we should charge money for it.
Well, that's just what you do in your company, right? You see? So you decided to use AI and give it for free. And there are companies which provides only AI solutions. I mean, they cannot give it for free.
If I was an AI
because
company, I would charge for AI. That's right.
Exactly. So other questions? Good. So thank you so much also for the question from the audience. Othman, Andreas, Scott, and Bertrand, thank you so much for this very nice and interesting talk. Thank you.